second grade social studiers. It's so good to see you again. I hope you had so much fun learning all about who makes rules and where do those rules come from. We're going to talk even more about that with my good friend, Julie. It's time for Rules with Jules.
Wow, thank you so much for having me, Miss Haverstick. Yes, my name is Julie Price. You can call me Jules or Julie or Miss Price, whatever you prefer. And I am a residence director at Messiah University, and so I'm kind of what you would call a rules expert here at the university.
Yes, Miss Price, thank you so much for being with us here today. We are learning all about how teamwork is super important. We can work with the people in our communities to learn new things, and so you are our rules expert.
Thank you.
Miss Price, what does it mean to be a resident director?
Well, it just means that I find ways to help keep people safe. And so by doing that, some of the ways that we keep people safe is that we create guidelines and we create rules in order so that there is somewhat of a sense of order so things aren't super chaotic. And so that's kind of what my role is as a residence director, is to then make sure that people follow those guidelines and those rules that are set in place.
So what you're telling me, Miss Price, is that you are one of those people who cares a lot about us and helps make rules, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so my second graders and I were talking about how rules are those statements that help us know what to do.
Okay.
And they come from people who really care about us. People like adults at home make rules, teachers and principals in school, and people in the community, just like you. You all make rules.
Good idea.
We'll see if it works on my phone, hopefully. Technology is just so tricky sometimes, isn't it, second grade?
Uh-oh.
We are figuring it out. But you're one of those people in the community who makes rules and helps people follow them. Can you tell us, what are some of the rules at Messiah University?
Sure. Well, we have a couple of different rules. I mean, there are parking rules. There are places that you are allowed to park and places that you are not allowed to park. There are rules about the things that you can bring to college and the things that you cannot bring to college. So, for example, you cannot bring your pet that lives at home with your family or your friends. You cannot bring your pet to live at the university in the residence halls. There's rules about where you take your trash. You gotta take your trash to the dumpster. You can't just leave it in the hallway because that's gross.
Would not be good.
So those are some of the rules.
Wow. Okay, so that totally makes sense. Those are the statements, some of the statements here at college that help us know what we're supposed to do. Now, my second grade social studiers and I were also talking about how these people who make rules, they don't just make them up out of nowhere.
Right.
Rules usually come from our values. Hi, Diesel.
Oh.
This is Miss Price's dog, Diesel.
He's Diesel. He's the sweetest.
And so our values are some of those ideas that are really important to us. Some of my values are things like respect and fairness. And so are there some values behind the rules that we have at school?
Sure. I think that fairness, actually, and respect are really good values that kind of line up with a lot of the rules that we have at college, because with parking, we want everyone to have a parking spot, and so that goes along with fairness.
That makes sense.
Respect is huge. I mean, I think anytime that you're thinking about a rule, we need to consider how it impacts another person, and so we need to make sure that we're respecting other persons. So sometimes the rules come out of respect. I'm trying to think if there's any other values that would go along with these rules that we have here at school. Safety. I think that safety is probably also a value that we have here, is that we want people to not only feel safe, but we want people to be safe.
Yes, that totally makes sense.
We want people to wear helmets when they ride on their scooters down the hill.
That is a
rule.
really important rule.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's a rule our second grade social studiers know very well.
Wow. You all, that's amazing.
They are the best rule followers.
Wow, that's great.
Wow, Miss Price, that is just so special. It really helps me to understand rules better when I know that the people, just like you, who are making rules, they are making them because it comes from something that we value.
Right, yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Now, I have another question for you.
Okay.
Miss Price.
I'm ready.
What do you do when someone decides not to follow the rules?
Oh, yes, this happens. Sometimes I have a hard time following the rules. I don't want to park in my parking spot because another parking spot is closer, and so I just want to park in that parking spot. But sometimes there are consequences for when we don't follow the rules. And so sometimes we will lose a privilege, which basically means I might have to park in a spot that's further away from my parking spot. And then sometimes maybe there will be something like a fine, like you'll have to pay money because you did not follow a rule that was set in place by the college. Sometimes we just explain the rules better and we help people to understand and see the reason why we have those rules. And so sometimes we just need to do a little bit of educating, you know?
Yes, and that's exactly what we're doing with our second grade social studies.
Perfect.
We are seeing that when we understand what rules are, who makes them, where they come from, and why we should follow them, it really helps us to want to follow rules.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, I think that's really good.
Oh my goodness. Miss Price, you are just the best.
Well, I mean, Miss Haverstick, thank you so much for having me. This is amazing. I really am so honored to be here and to talk with your second grade social studiers. Y'all, you have a great, great teacher here.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Price. You are just so awesome.
Thank you.
Isn't it great that we can use teamwork with people in our community who are experts to learn more about things? It's so awesome. Second grade social studiers, I hope you had a blast talking with me and Miss Price in our session on Rules with Jules.
Rules with Jules.
And I hope that you have so much fun the rest of this week learning about rules. See you later.
Bye.